Okay, so now we're on question 9. Which of the following is the minimal core of morality? So that's going into this beginning chapter that he's got. He's not saying just, minimally be moral, never be more than that. It's a different kind of claim. He's not saying this, it just doesn't show up there. This is pretty straightforwardly what he offers us as a definition. It was call that a minimal core because it clearly doesn't answer all of our moral questions or give us a complete moral code or give us a rule book for exactly what to do. It's more of defining a general perspective or orientation that's the moral point of view that if we follow this way of thinking should lead us to a more specific moral code. We then get questions about whether that will include God, is it subjective or objective, is it relative? All of the questions that he then goes on to pursue will questions that come up as we pursue morality in that sense, but that's what it is to be thinking morally in a philosophical sense, at least according to Rachel's. Obviously, people have all kinds of positions on that. Okay, which of the following is what are the consequences of the cultural differences argument? So this here is one interesting consequence, that if it's our culture itself that defines what's good, and that's by definition what's good is what our culture says is good, then we can't be right if we criticize the code of our society. We're automatically wrong if we criticize the code of our society, because on this view, the code of our society is automatically right. If that's what morality is relativized to, the code of your society, then by definition, automatically, the code of your society is right. And thus, if you deny the code of your society, you're automatically wrong. We don't even need to listen to the details of what you're saying or your argument if we know that you're going against the code of the society. We know you're wrong if we accept cultural differences argument, which might be a reason not to accept it. That's kind of where he's going with it. Okay, so you might go ahead and take a look at these again. I might suggest if you go back and kind of look at the particular chapters that they're discussed in, you can see the kind of reasons offered, I think, pretty straightforwardly in the book for these particular set of answers. And hopefully one thing that you'll see from this is that with a fairly going through of the material, looking at the study guide, it's actually pretty doable to get these answers. It might be fine if you got one or two more wrong than you wanted to here, if you kind of see, all right, maybe I'll do a little this different, a little that different. So at any rate, I think it requires some thinking and effort and doing, but if you go through the study guide questions, you answer them looking fairly closely at the reading, and you actually ahead of time answer them once and maybe even a second time, checking your answers, then I would think going through this should be pretty doable. But you'll have to put that time in ahead of time of preparing your study guide ahead of time. I would double check it before I clicked on the quiz, make double sure, and then boom, see where the questions chosen are on your study guide, and you should be able to kind of get these answers. And sometimes, of course, you'll have to look closely at which answer is exactly right, but that's kind of what we're here to do. Okay, so I hope that helps.